Chapter 1291. Were these her children? Lin Che then threw a gaze at Dong Zi, who got brought along people to send the staff out, as well as to deal with this matter. Lin Che took Ji Yuxinian and Ji Yuxiuan's hands, and then headed inside. Both of you, be good and wait here. I'll get someone to drive the car over and take you guys back. Lin Che told them to wait here while she went to tell people that she had to make a move first. She planned to then get someone to prepare the car. However, she had just gotten downstairs, but the world was small. She saw a group of people heading toward her direction. The person at the very front of the group was Wu Yufei. It seemed to be a gathering amongst friends, and she was acting casually, even smoking a cigarette. Lin Che paused for a moment and saw that Wu Yufei noticed her as well. "Oh, isn't this Sister Che?" She looked at Lin Che and walked over while smiling. Lin Che said, "It's such a coincidence." As she got closer, the smell of alcohol also got stronger. It seemed that she drank quite a bit. It was no wonder she looked a little out of it. The people behind her also noticed Lin Che. "Hey, Yufei, isn't that Lin Che?" "Yufei, you know her?" "Oh, it's really good to be with Yufei. Not only can we dine at such a nice hotel, but we can also even get to see Lin Che." Wu Yufei snorted and asked, "Sister Che, why are you here?" "It's nothing. This is really such a coincidence." Wu Yufei saw that there was a sign on the side that wrote, "Celebration Party." "Oh, your television series is still having a celebration party." What did she mean by this? Was their television so bad that they couldn't hold a celebration party? Wu Yufei had drunk a little too much. She had heard that Lin Che's television series didn't have as good of a viewership as hers, and thus felt a lot more relaxed. During these days, she had been under a lot of pressure when she knew that she was going to be up against Lin Che. She felt as if she was going to be strangled to death. Now that she finally knew that their viewership wasn't as high as her series, she felt completely relaxed, as if she had come back to life. That was why she had started to come out for gatherings with friends tonight, wanting to take a breather. She hadn't expected to drink so much, and also encounter Lin Che here. She looked at Lin Che, and couldn't help but feel proud. The people behind her also started to kick up a racket. What's so good about Lin Che? There's no one better than our Yufei. Yufei is the current best female-led, the viewership champion. Aren't there many people watching your television series? What is Lin Che? She has been defeated by our Yufei. Lin Che shook her head. These people had drunk too much, and what they said under the influence of alcohol was really. She didn't wish to interact with drunkards and turned to leave. At this moment, "Mama!" Ji Yuxiuan ran over from the back. As she was too anxious, she left a handprint onto Wu Yufei's dress. She bumped onto Wu Yufei, not noticing that Wu Yufei stumbled back. "You whose unruly child is this? You dirtied my clothes." Wu Yufei cried out, looked at her own clothes, and then angrily at the child that had bumped into her. Lin Che quickly pulled the child toward her. Ji Yuxiuan raised her head and looked at the woman in front of her, biting her lips, not understanding the situation. Lin Che said, "Xiuan, if you bump into someone, you need to say sorry." Ji Yuxiuan looked up. She was still not good at saying the word sorry. Lin Che said, "Let me wash your clothes for you." Wu Yufei said, "You're going to wash it? I don't want you to. I want you to compensate for my clothes." "We'll compensate with a carload of it." At this moment, a small boy walked over. A few of them looked at this short child, stunned. This child had conducted himself in an imposing manner. Lin Che turned and looked at Ji Yuxinian. Ji Yuxinian had heard what this woman said when he was in the distance. When he walked over, the contempt in his eyes made it clear that he was displeased with her. The few of them didn't know where these two children had suddenly appeared from. Wu Yufei frowned. "Who are you?" The others also started to kick up a ruckus. "Hey, children these days really know how to talk. Buy a carload. How are you going to do that? By selling yourself? Do you know that our Wufei's clothes are all well-known international brands that cost over $10,000? You think that they can be compared to your mom's clothes that are bought cheaply online?" Ji Yuxinian snorted, looked at the few of them, then waved his hand casually. A black card was brought out. Black card. They thought that their eyes were playing a trick on them. There were also people who felt that the card that the child was holding must definitely be a fake one. There were many imitation black cards sold online these days. This might be one of them. Ji Yushinian said, take a look and see how much the clothes that she is wearing cost. Help me buy a truckload of it. At this moment, the people that came after that boy made it hard for them to doubt the boy's words. They were a few tall-looking men who seemed like bodyguards. Lin Che looked at her son. To think that he was throwing his weight around here. She suddenly had no idea what to feel about this. A few of them looked at Ji Yushinian, and then at the people behind. They walked up to Wu Yufei, checking out the brand of her clothes while she didn't dare to budge at all. They then said, it's a dress from Dior. Alright, go buy a carload of it. It'll take a few days to arrive even if we place an order now. Go order a carload of it and send it to her. So good. The few of them looked at him with a bit of doubt, unsure where this child had come from. They hadn't expected Ji Yushinian's tone to immediately change. My sister dirtied your dress just now. This matter is now considered over. Now, should we settle the score about you screaming out like a lunatic and scaring my sister? What? Settle the score? Saying that she was a lunatic, saying that she was screaming. What do you mean? I only let out a cry earlier. Despite that, you've scared my sister. How much money are you planning to offer as compensation? Wu Yufei was stunned. What this child said wasn't something that one of his age should act like. She suddenly had no idea what she should be saying. Why do I have to give compensation? I won't do it. Ha, alright, you aren't going to give compensation, right? He then threw a glance at the bodyguards behind him. Go show her why I can do this. The moment the few tall bodyguards headed over, she immediately was scared out of her wits. What do you want? You guys alright, all compensation with money. I'll apologize, Lin Che said, that's enough, Nianian. Stop fooling around. Ji Yushinian let out a snort. Wu Yufei pursed her lips and looked at Lin Che. What's going on? You know these children, right? How can you treat me like this? Whose children are these? Don't they have any upbringing? Or did you do this on purpose? Ji Yuxiuan suddenly called out again, Mama. Lin Che snorted and carried Ji Yuxiuan up and then took Nianian's hand. What you said just now is a greater reflection of core upbringing compared to them. Take care of your own mouth before you interfere with others. Mama. Just now, this child called Lin Che Mama. Then these two. Wu Yufei was a little unsure, but looking at these two children and then thinking of that possibility, she really felt that they did indeed bear some resemblance to Lin Che. Chapter 1292 Lin Che's all-round development. Wu Yufei looked at the child. He turned and threw a cold glance at her with a sharp gaze that someone of his age would never have. Wu Yufei found it unbelievable. Had she just been despised by a young child? A few people with her also found it strange. Yufei, what was that earlier? Yufei, were they humiliating us? Wu Yufei felt very annoyed and pushed away the rest. Alright, go, and have fun. Don't come and bother me. After saying that, Wu Yufei kept on thinking about the question earlier, filled with curiosity. She had no idea what had happened, but her heart was filled with all sorts of doubts. She couldn't be bothered by what her friends were mumbling behind her. Seriously, she's acting so high and mighty just because she became a celebrity. She thinks she's so amazing just because other people praise her a little. Hey, she's just a performer for people to fuck. Wu Yufei tried to sort out what had just taken place. That little girl had called her mama, and that boy called the girl his sister. The two children and Lin Che, they were all related. Maybe these two children were Lin Che's. However, Lin Che had kept her private life too hidden in the past. These things hadn't been uncovered before, resulting in her feeling so confused when she suddenly saw two children. If they were really her children, when had she given birth to them? Wu Yufei thought of how Lin Che had suddenly disappeared for a few years in the past. Afterward, she said that she was going to retreat to take on backstage roles. She then took another break for over a year. Looking at those two children, it seemed that the timing matched. After giving this a lot of thought, Wu Yufei suddenly realized what she had just discovered. She wanted to say it out loud, but didn't dare to. Who was the children's father? Gu Jingze. It didn't seem like it. Gu Jingze had gone overseas for very long previously and had just come back. If it wasn't Gu Jingze, then who else had been close with Lin Che? There was no way that she could figure things out. She didn't know that there was still Gu Jingze. Wu Yufei felt that she needed to think about this carefully. For now, she should first go back and wake up from her drunken stupor. However, thinking about it, those two children were really good looking. Wu Yufei couldn't help but feel jealous that even Lin Che's children were so good looking. Lin Che brought the children back. When she got back home, she heard about the television ratings from the company, saying that it had increased a little and was generally stable overall. It seemed that they had managed to retain quite a lot of viewers. The number of online views was also gradually increasing. It seemed that it wasn't bad either. Lin Che felt consoled. She sat there and took a look at it. The show involved a love relationship that was sweet, baffling, but also with a hint of forbidden love. It was very enticing. As Lin Che continued to watch it, Gu Jingze had appeared behind her without her realizing it. What are you looking at? I'm watching our television series. Didn't you watch it after the edits? It can be considered as supporting the viewership. He stayed behind her, massaging her shoulders. Not bad, not bad. Continue, she said. How is it? Is the service good? It's very good. Then how much are you going to pay me? Hee, she turned and said, the skill isn't on par, but you make up for it with your looks. You're considered to be the most popular one in your shop. This rich woman will definitely give you a little more. Really, how much? It'll depend on how much you can take from this rich woman. He smiled and lowered his head, slowly kissing her neck. He rubbed against it slightly, biting gently, causing her entire body to feel itchy and sore. What are you doing? Getting money from you. How is it? How's the skill now? There's room for improvement. Oh, then I'll have to continue to work hard. How about this? He undid her clothes with his teeth, and continued to bite downwards. Ah, stop. Alright, I'll give you whatever you want. Stop fooling around. There were two children running around here all the time and they might see it. Then, what if I want you? No way. Lin Che pushed his face away, watching as he got close. She felt that if he were to get any closer, she'd break down again. No, it was also a problem that this man was too alluring. Move away. Don't look at me anymore. Why, you're only stopping me from looking only now. She held onto his face and looked at him. I won't be able to hold back when I see you. Gu Jingze laughed. Then there's no need to bear with it. That can't do. I'm watching the television series. You can continue to watch it. I'm not stopping you. Lin Che looked at him and blushed. You're an obstruction just by being in front of me. When I look at you, how can I still have the energy to continue watching the television series? Gu Jingze's eyes lit up, feeling happy as he sat down and holding her in his arms. Alright, I'll accompany you to watch it. The series was playing, and the reviews kept on refreshing as well. She saw that the comments were coming up pretty quickly. It looks so good. While watching, I completely forgot that this is Gu Jingze. There's too much love in this. When Lin Shu was touching little Chu, my heart had gone all soft and tingly. Lin Shu, quickly confess. Little Chu is so cool. The action she did earlier was too cool. Little Chu is so beautiful. Her actions are too must like a fairy. Little Chu, quickly push Lin Shu down. Little Chu is too domineering. I haven't seen a female lead that can push down the male lead. Isn't this series better than Queen? Why do I feel that this is better? Queen is so tormenting, and the screenwriter is an idiot to keep on going about the bush. You guys are still watching Queen. I've already given up on it. It's too tormenting. Queen is too stupid. My little Chu is cuter. Little Chu crushes everyone else, and that idiotic Queen can't compare at all. Although Lin Che knew that these comments might not necessarily mean anything, she was still happy to see them. There were even people saying, I read the novel. The story, later on, is so beautiful. I played the game. I feel that the show gives you a feeling as if you're the one in the story. I came here after reading the comics. It's as good as the comics. The benefits of development from all channels were only displayed now. People who watched the show would start playing the game, and vice versa. All the IP started getting into action. However, the next day, people started to contact Lin Che for interviews. They said that they wanted to interview her about the multi-IP channels. Lin Che asked as she found this strange. What do you mean? Someone said that you were also the one who came up with the game, and you were also the one who had been involved in the production of the television series. Where did you guys find out about this? Lin Che found this strange. She didn't seem to have told anyone about this before. We were told about this when we interviewed the game company. Lin Che said, oh my, that's just a part-time job. It's so embarrassing. How could that be? It's really rare to see such things. You should be considered one of the more amazing ones amongst movie and television celebrities to cross to different areas, yet being so successful. Moreover, the all-round development this time around is especially successful, and we'd like to interview you on your experience. Lin Che gave it some thought, felt that it would also be considered to be additional publicity, and thus agreed. Chapter 1293, bringing forth another round of commotion. After Lin Che agreed, she headed over. Quite a number of people looked at her in surprise, wondering why a celebrity like Lin Che would come to take part in a finance show. Did she run out of publicity avenues? Under everyone's gaze, Lin Che entered the studio for the finance show in the television broadcast station. The host of the show had seen the information and was full of admiration for Lin Che. Before the show started, he said, Lin Che, I really didn't expect you to come up with this game. I've been playing it every night, and haven't been able to sleep without playing it. Lin Che smiled, feeling a little embarrassed. I'm just one of the developers. That's not true. I saw that you're the main developer, the person who started it. Lin Che said, I only started doing it out of fun at the beginning. You were even the one to bring about the eventual development of the novel and comic series. Oh my god, I really feel that many celebrities these days are very impetuous, and there aren't many who have their own view of things. Even if they start their own businesses, they'd just be using their own names to set up a restaurant or something. But you came up with a game instead. Lin Che felt even more embarrassed from all the praises, and the host had only left after her makeup was done. The show started, and the host said very agitatedly, today, we've invited the great celebrity Lin Che onto our show. There might be people who found this strange and wondered if Lin Che had come to the wrong studio. But what I want to tell everyone is that that's not true. Lin Che is the great entrepreneur we've invited to our show today. At the mention of the recent popular television series, Ray of Light, what everyone will first think of is the mobile game, Ray of Light, that has broken download records to reach several 100 million. This game has taken the entire C nation by storm, with people of all genders and ages playing it. However, everyone might not have thought of there to be a connection between this game and actress Lin Che. We're going to tell everyone today that Lin Che is this game's developer. The host mentioned their entrepreneur business, and said agitatedly, I read the introduction that you had gone to look for a few young university students to develop this game with you after you obtained investment. Lin Che smiled and said, that's right. It's because we don't have much money, so we decided to look for university students. They are cheaper to hire, haha. Today, we're also giving Lin Che a surprise. We've invited one of the developers of the initial structure for Ray of Light. Please, come in. To Lin Che's surprise, Crooked Neck walked in. Naturally, Crooked Neck would always be the one to deal with this stuff amongst the few of them. KG wouldn't come even if he was asked to. Lin Che looked at Crooked Neck, first feeling surprised, then later on smiled and patted him on the shoulder. She was now very familiar with these few youngsters, and it wouldn't matter even if they joked around with each other. Crooked Neck sat down and went on endlessly about his admiration for Lin Che. From being chosen at the very beginning, to now having a net worth of over 100 million, he said that everything felt like a dream. It was the same for the few university students who had taken on this business together with them. Everyone had no idea why they suddenly have no much money now. Such topics of core university students going through a complete turnover were very attractive, and the host also asked a few more interesting questions. After the recording was over, the host felt even greater admiration for Lin Che after hearing Crooked Neck's praises for Lin Che. Miss Lin, you are really a hero amongst the ladies. It's impossible for you to not become popular. Watching as the host left feeling amazed, Lin Che asked Crooked Neck, what's going on? Why did they suddenly contact me? Crooked Neck said, this is CCV television station. When we saw that they came to interview us, we were all extremely excited and revealed everything. Crooked Neck said, I never would have thought that I'd be interviewed by them in my lifetime. They really gave me a big fright. It's really tonight, I'm going to get all of my friends and family to watch it. Lin Che quickly got home. This was actually the first time she had taken part in such an official program. The variety shows and interviews that she had attended in the past were more for their entertainment value. They were unlike how official this interview and its content were, and when she got back, she still felt like she was in the clouds. After returning home, she saw that Gu Jingze was in the study, looking at something. She pushed the door and entered. Gu Jingze looked up and said, "The effect of your interview today isn't bad." "Huh, it's available so fast." CCV television stations' shows are all recorded in the morning and released on air in the afternoon. This is the only way they can ensure that their content is always the newest. "Oh, I haven't really got on CCV before. I didn't know about this. I only noticed it because I saw a lot of comments about you online." Gu Jingze said. "What, a lot of comments?" Gu Jingze smiled and looked at her. "Take a look." She felt that his smile was very strange. She walked over and casually sat down on his lap. She turned and looked toward the computer, only to see that the hot topics were, multi-talented Lin Che, do you guys know that there's this side to Lin Che, and, Lin Che, ray of light. Lin Che was stunned as she opened up the articles, realizing that many people had seen it. They were full of comments about Lin Che's appearance on the finance show. Many people were like the host, surprised that Lin Che was the one who developed this game. There were even people who had listed out that other than doing this, Lin Che actually was also the one who took charge of the film company, Lin Che's work studio. To think that we didn't know that Lin Che was this capable. Lin Che keeps a low profile. We only got to find out about this now. Lin Che is really a powerful career woman. She's really multi-talented. I really hold such great admiration for her. If only I can be 1/10 as capable as she is. This is what a new century female should be like. Relying on herself to create a new world. Who says that women aren't comparable to men? Of course, there were also people who held objecting views and said, it's only because she's a celebrity that she can get the investment. Ordinary people can just dream on. However, such comments were immediately rebutted. If you're capable, then go be a celebrity as well. If you're capable, then go get yourself some investors. You'll know that it's not that easy to get investments just because you're a celebrity. This is especially when game development is something that is so different from being a celebrity. You make it sound as if Lin Che didn't rely on her own hard work to become popular as a celebrity. Everyone protected Lin Che, scolding the person away. Lin Che browsed through the internet and realized that she had really suddenly got onto the headlines. She was stunned. This was primarily because too many people found it unexpected that she was the one who had developed the game. It was in such a different industry that such reactions were garnered. However, the netizens could do anything. There were people who even managed to unearth Lin Che's secondary account in the game, and even brought out the gaming video that had been recorded in the past. The person said that Lin Che had really done a lot of things while playing the game. Her positioning had been really bad and she was someone who had to rely on her equipment to tide through things. Of course, these weren't meant to be scolding her. It was just that everyone felt that such a foolish girl was really interesting. Chapter 1294 Fans Changing Sides. As Lin Che had garnered attention in the game in the past, her secondary account was a little special. It was an account that had been left behind from the internal testings. There weren't many of these, and the equipment was especially amazing. It was just that her battle records were still pretty trash, and it was clear that she didn't have the skills to play well. Someone said, Lin Che, you're better off working on the game development instead of playing it. I can't bear to watch how you play. Give me your equipment. With such divine grade equipment, I'd be able to reach the max level. Damn it. Lin Che was so angry that she felt like slamming her hand on the table. Did she really play so badly? Then, someone's explanation overthrew the hottest comment. This set of equipment should have been secretly given to her by the company. They probably saw that her gameplay was too pitiful and couldn't bear to watch it, so they gave her these divine level equipment. Of course, it could also be possible that she had asked for it. But the good thing about this game is that no matter how good your equipment is, you won't go far if your skills are bad. So you can take a look at her battle records and see how bad it is. She has a 57% winning rate. Chances are during the times she won, she must have been playing together with KG and the rest. As long as she plays by herself, she'd die immediately. This shows that her skill is really so everyone, just forgive her. Can you give me the equipment? Crooked Neck couldn't watch on anymore. He immediately posted comments on the official website. Everyone, please save her some face. I had already been scolded off when I secretly got her the equipment. On the account that she's so cute, generous, kind, and beautiful. Let's just give her some benefits. Everyone took a screenshot of this post and uploaded it onto Weibo. This gave them another reason to ridicule Lin Che. Of course, these ridicules were kind, humorous ones. Many people just felt that Lin Che was too interesting. She was such a fool that she even had to be secretly given equipment just so that she could stay in the game. Lin Che is so adorable. She's too cute. Steal equipment, this is really epic. Lin Che, you should just let your employees off. Lin Che, you won't be changing the game because of your trashy skills, right? Please don't. This game is quite fun as is. Your skills aren't that terrible. Next time, team up with me. I'll help you. All the netizens were people who liked to join in the fun, especially toward fresh things. Therefore, when they saw something like this, they immediately crowded over, and the news spread to even more people. All the netizens took part. Some of them did so because they felt that it was fun, while others found it interesting. There were some who didn't know about games who would just read the comments and then burst out laughing after reading them. One of them said something that gained a lot of recognition. Lin Che had really lived her life into a parody. Quote. Lin Che shouted, "Damn it! Is he saying that I'm a joke?" Lin Che looked at the computer for very long and felt that these netizens were really too good at creating a ruckus. In the afternoon, she continued with the publicity for the television series. This time around, the publicity was also at a television broadcast station. Many fans gathered over when she reached. Lin Che asked, "I don't think we told the fans about our publicity." Yu Minmin frowned. "We didn't. Our publicity is all done by the fan club. Otherwise, it'd be too chaotic and there might be problems if there are too many fans. Why are there so many people?" The two of them were still talking about this when they saw the sign that one of the fans was holding. Wu Yufei's name was written on it. Lin Che was stunned, exclaiming in surprise, "These can't be Wu Yufei's fans, right?" Yu Minmin suddenly thought of it. "Ah, I just remember this. They said that there'll be Wu Yufei's publicity here today. It's in the same television broadcast station, but for a different show and at a different studio." Then what were these fans here for? To surround and attack Lin Che? However, Lin Che thought wrong. Wu Yufei's team was still maintaining the order. They liked to create commotion whenever they could, so when they had publicity events each time, they would make it a big event. Sometimes, they would even inform their fans. Some fans who got to know about their itinerary would then come over and see their idols. This was why there were so many fans gathered at the television broadcast station. It was the same today. Wu Yufei's team was still watching proudly when suddenly, some fans started passing something amongst themselves and then started to squeeze over to one side. "Hey, why are there people heading over there?" That's right, that's right. Quickly take a look to see what's going on. Did something happen?" The person in charge quickly sent someone over to ask, feeling worried that problems might occur with there being so many people. And at that moment, someone spotted Lin Che's team. "That can't be. That seems like Lin Che over there. Look, that's the publicity staff next to Lin Che." The people who worked in this industry were very familiar with the other people in the circle. All of them knew who the people around the celebrities were as well. Wu Yufei heard a voice saying that and her face scrunched up. Lin Che. Lin Che was still feeling surprised, but the people who came over weren't here to create trouble. "Wow, Lin Che. Lin Che, I want to admire you. Can I have your signature? Quickly come and take photos. It's Lin Che. Lin Che is really beautiful in person, even more so than on television." Yu Minmin felt that this was hilarious. She quickly said, "Everyone, please calm down. We're here to film a show today, so you can just take photos like this. There's too many of you here and we won't be able to give signatures to everyone. Here are some autographed photos that have been prepared in advance. Here, take them." It was a norm for celebrities to prepare autograph photos as gifts when they were free. Lin Che would sign them whenever she had some free time, just in case she really needed to give them away. Yu Minmin took them out and distributed it to the fans. Lin Che bumped Yu Minmin. "Hey, what if Wu Yufei sees this?" Yu Minmin let out a snort. We weren't the ones to get them to come over. It'd be best if Liang Shan dies from anger. He's been overly arrogant of late. Lin Che was speechless. She shrugged and smiled at the fans. Some of Wu Yufei's loyal fans were infuriated when they saw this scene, and came over angrily. This was especially when they saw that these fans were holding onto Lin Che's photos. Someone agitated came up to snatch them. You traitors are too unbelievable. How can you be like this, to get this bitch's photos? Tear them all up. The people who managed to get the photographs were still feeling very lucky and happy when they were suddenly attacked. They immediately flared up and started scolding back. We're free to choose who to like. What are you guys doing? That's right. Who says that if we like Wu Yufei, we can't like someone else? You guys aren't God. You can decide who we choose to like. Your Wu Yufei is amazing, but she isn't unique. She isn't that amazing to the extent that we can't like someone else. That's right. It has only been a few years since she debuted. She's no match for Lin Che at all. Now that we see how unreasonable you guys are acting as her fans, we now know what kind of caliber your idol has. To think that you snatched someone else's things. Do you know that this is against the law? Everyone started bickering, and a great commotion broke out at the empty space in front of the television broadcast station. When the television broadcast station's staff discovered this, they were angry as well. It's Wu Yufei again. Why did she bring so many fans here for no reason? She got so many people here to create trouble when she's just attending a show. That's really annoying. Chapter 1295 Such a turnaround. The television broadcast station also felt annoyed at celebrities who kept finding trouble. And clearly, Wu Yufei wasn't a celebrity whom others would take a great liking to. Therefore, when the television broadcast station saw these fans, they got the security guards to chase them out, saying impatiently, "All of you, get out, get out. This is the television station. Those without an identification card can't enter. Which celebrity has such poor qualities? We already said that our studio hasn't made seating arrangements for fans, yet they called so many of them here. Are they trying to show that they have a lot of fans? That's right. It's probably not a big shot celebrity anyway. Those big shots wouldn't need to get fans to come to create a commotion. That's why they never bring people with them, nor do they need to show that they have a lot of fans. They purposely said these for the fans to hear. When the fans heard that, they'd feel unhappy even if they didn't show it on their faces." The fans at the back who had just changed sides also started to speak up. That's right. Real celebrities don't need to fake things and get people to come and show support. Look, Lin Che had come by herself just now. Humph, to think that you were complaining about us. It's already considered good that we came here to show support, yet you don't even allow us to chase other celebrities. This is really shameless. The fans started to create a ruckus once again. It didn't take long for a video clip of this scene to appear online. When the fans changed sides, many people found this interesting. To think that Wu Yufei had called her fans over to display support and then her fans had changed sides to show support for Lin Che. Lin Che became a national idol. Lin Che's deeds are fermenting. The multi-talented Lin Che was a role model for women. Similar topics like these took people a little by surprise, but it was an undeniable fact that posts about Lin Che had taken up all the top charts on the paparazzi sites. Thereafter, no matter how much publicity Panda Station wanted to put into Wu Yufei, it was too late. Lin Che's sudden shot to fame had caused Dragon Station, a station without many publicity funds and channels, to save a lot of costs, yet allowing the television series' exposure to increase greatly. Everyone started to notice this television series where the female lead pushed down the male lead. The character that Lin Che played in the series was also a great fit for her image shown to the public. The female lead didn't rely on men, nor did she engage in any harem fights. Instead, she relied on her own abilities, martial prowess, and her status to become the strongest queen. At the end of the novel, the queen would reach the very top in a cool manner. The results of this great battle would be that little Chu, whom Lin Che played the role of, would emerge victorious. People who had read the novel and comics all held great anticipation for this scene. After this spoiler was revealed, the people watching the series felt even greater anticipation for the final ending. When Lin Che woke up early in the morning, Yu Minmin called to inform her of the good news. Take a look quickly. Our television ratings have surpassed the ratings of Queen Zhao Yong. Lin Che asked in surprise, "Is that true? Where are the ratings? Where are the ratings?" Lin Che still found this a little surprising on that day, but it was true that their television ratings had surpassed the other series by just a little bit. On the second day, Yu Minmin called again. Oh my god, we've overtaken the television ratings for Queen Zhao Yang by 30%. That can't be. News of the television ratings for their series overtaking the other one went up the headlines, and Lin Che's television series once again became very popular. Everyone felt extremely surprised by the turnaround for Ray of Light. It had only started to turn the tables around midway through the series airing, and as time passed, their popularity kept on increasing. There hadn't been a television series like this before. The television station quickly called Lin Yu to congratulate her. This also came unexpectedly for them. They had already been very satisfied with the initial viewership ratings. Over the years, there hadn't been many television stations that could win against Panda Station, so they didn't dare to hold hopes to be able to do that either. Panda Station had been the one who had signed the contract for this television series at the beginning, but Lin Che later terminated the contract and looked for them instead. They already felt that this was a great stroke of luck for them. A television series with Lin Che and Gu Jingze together wouldn't have ratings that were too bad, even if they could win against Panda Station. Therefore, they had basically bought the television series without hesitation. However, taking over the television series took all of them by surprise. The television station's management said excitedly, "Our station had its days of glory back then, but Panda Station had taken over a great share in the market for many years thereafter. We've already given up on winning against them, but hadn't expected that your television series would bring about a turnaround, allowing us to see a hint of possibility. We're currently having a meeting now and saying that we can't be so passive in the future. No matter how amazing Panda Station is, it's not impossible to overtake them. We're all feeling very confident in our ability to surpass Panda Station. This is all thanks to you." Lin Che quickly said, No, you're too kind. This isn't my credit. Am I too agitated? Anyway, it's definitely inseparable from you. You must definitely come when we throw a celebration party for you. Yes, I'll definitely go. At this time, there were people who were happy, but there were also people who were fretting. Liang Shan didn't flare up. He sat there, looked at Wu Yufei, who was sitting across him, and shook his head. He sighed. As expected of Lin Che. Alright, anyway, I've already said that there's something demonic about this woman. If it's her, anything is possible. We should take things in stride. However, this was like great torture. It dealt great mental damage to Wu Yufei. She felt a plop in her heart as if she had been struck by a strong hammer. There was an instant of numbness, following by pain slowly tearing open. It was because Liang Shan's consolation didn't feel like one at all. She could only tell that Liang Shan had long expected this, and had denied Wu Yufei in his heart. He had felt that no matter what, Wu Yufei wouldn't be able to win against Lin Che. Right now, everything was just happening according to his plan. So he wasn't even the slightest surprised. Then, over so many days, why did he still use her to compare with Lin Che? What were all her effort, anxiety, and pressure for? Wu Yufei felt really upset, but Liang Shan felt that he had already treated her very well, not throwing his temper nor scolding or beating her. But what expression was Wu Yufei showing right now? Why did it seem as if she was very angry? Wu Yufei got up and swung away Liang Shan's hand that had reached out toward her. Let go, let me be by myself for a while. Sigh, you. Wu Yufei dashed out right away. Liang Shan said angrily, look at you. Wu Yufei, I'm trying to console you, but what attitude is this? It's because of your attitude that you aren't steady enough. If not, why is it that you aren't comparable to Lin Che? His words only made Wu Yufei move even faster. From the very beginning, she hadn't thought of wanting to compare with other people. She hadn't thought expected to become a second someone. They were the ones who had been using her to compete against Lin Che. On Lin Che's side, it was impossible for them to not attend the television station's celebration party. There would be a lot of benefits for celebrities if they were to maintain a good relationship with the television station. This would allow them to gain more exposure, and only celebrities with poor emotional intelligence would carry their weight around at the television station. They'd only realize how foolish they were after they were banned by the station. Chapter 1296 The Woman Who Had Left Gu Jingze. Lin Che wore a blue gown to the event. The gown made her figure appear extremely long and slender. It made her seem even more elegant. Lin Che also seemed to have an aura apart from that of a celebrity, perhaps because of the topics that had surrounded her recently. When they looked at her now, everyone felt that she had the particular charisma that was characteristic of the elites. She now seemed completely different from an ordinary celebrity, because many celebrities usually gave off the feeling that they had poor academic qualifications. Lin Che herself did not have any particularly outstanding qualifications. She had only graduated from an ordinary performing academy. But after this incident, she had the charm of an elite student. She did not even seem to pale in comparison to those celebrities with so-called high academic qualifications. When Lin Che arrived, the entire hall seemed to look at her as if there was a ring of light around her. All the executives of the television station liked her more and more as they looked at her. Only female celebrities like her, who were full of positivity, kept a low profile, and were full of charisma, made people feel that they had much more depth. They did not give off a shallow feeling like those women who were merely pretty faces. Afterward, Gu Jingze also arrived at the television station. Seeing that Gu Jingze, who usually could not be bothered to appear at any event, was actually showing respect for his feelings this time, the top executive of the television station felt even happier. The top executive came over and clasped Gu Jingze's hands as he thanked Gu Jingze. Even if he did not come, they would have nothing to say. After all, apart from being one of the top A-list celebrities in the country, he was also the third young master of the Gu family. Meanwhile, the top executive was saying, "We're very surprised that Jingyu could come. We heard that Jingyu is usually quite busy and doesn't really have time to attend events. We're genuinely..." Gu Jingyu immediately waved his hands. "It's all because that brat Lin Che threatened me and said that I had to come. Good lord, she made me wake up so early in the morning." The executive was momentarily speechless. But it suddenly registered in his mind that Lin Che actually dared to threaten Gu Jingze. It seemed that Lin Che was quite impressive too. That night, it was reported on the news that Gu Jingze and Lin Che had attended the party to celebrate Ray of Light, achieving its highest viewer ratings. The people outside watched the news quietly. In the dorm room, someone said directly, "Hey, didn't someone from our dorm act in this television series too? Why didn't she attend the celebratory party?" Everyone's gazes immediately centered on Su-won inside. Su-won was currently sitting on the top bunk and writing a script. There was going to be a school play in a few days. In the group, she was in charge of writing the script. Her pen did not stop moving when she heard the people below talking. She continued writing where she was. Her roommates left no room for ambiguity either. Not caring whether or not she had heard, they said bluntly, "Huh. Maybe those like her, who had pitifully little screen time, weren't allowed to go. Did you guys think that playing one role would make her a celebrity? Her role was just a minor one. Outside of the production, no one can remember her name. Really, I thought that some people moved out to sleep around. Their roles should be fairly significant. No one moved out. Isn't everyone in our dorm here? You forgot. Previously, someone moved out. But she moved back in not long ago." She moved back again in such a short time. It's difficult for anyone to even have feelings for her. I forgot that it even happened. Some people don't have enough charm. There's nothing they can do about it." Su-won remained silent. Just then, someone outside knocked on the door. She came in and said immediately, "Su-won, how's your script going? Why isn't it done yet?" Su-won said, "It's done. I'll show it to you." She got down from the bunk and showed the script to the leader. The leader was satisfied as she read it. Thereafter, she said, "It's all right." "Leader," she stopped her and continued, "Previously, you said that you could give me a role after I finished the script." The leader looked at her and said impatiently, "We'll see." Seeing that she was about to speak again, the leader said bluntly, all right. I'm still busy." The leader then left hurriedly. Internally, she even thought to herself, who would dare to help Su-won? She had heard that Su-wan's elder sister was very powerful. It would not be good if she accidentally offended her. Su-won felt a cramp in her abdomen. For a long time, she crouched on the ground in pain. Her period had come and at such times, her stomach would hurt to no end. Initially, she wanted to go and buy painkillers, but when she looked at the money in her pocket, she quietly saved up the money. She had not been getting an allowance for a long time. On top of that, she had not been able to work while living at Gu Jingze's before this. At this moment, Chen Jian gave her a call. "Little Wan, is your period about to come? I'm downstairs, outside your dorm." Chen Jian was her good friend at university. For so many years, he was the only man who dared to get close to her. Because she had been a relationship with her own brother-in-law in the past. There were even rumors that she had caused her brother-in-law's death. Thus, many people in school dared not even approach her and were not willing to do so. But Chen Jian had never cared about this. When she went downstairs, Chen Jian was already waiting there, carrying a large bag of things. Su Wan looked at him and asked jokingly, "Why do you remember it more clearly than I do?" "Oh, you," he looked at her tenderly. "You can't even remember your own dates, yet you're not embarrassed to say that. Here, painkillers, hot porridge and some dishes. Eat well and sleep well." As he looked at Su Wan, his heart was filled with delight. Recently, he had not seen her at all. She had been so busy with filming that she could not come back, causing him to feel empty inside. Su Wan looked at him, not daring to look at his eyes. She was not a child. She understood what his gaze meant. She herself had thought before that Chen Jian treated her so well. Perhaps he would treat her even better if she got together with him. However, she could not because she always felt that if that happened, she would be harming him instead. Especially now, after she had gotten involved with Gu Jingze like this. What right did she have to commit to a relationship with such a good man? Su Wan hastily took the bag from him and said, "All right. I still have to get to my part-time job. You should go ahead." In reality, all of them were very envious of her. Chen Jian was a very good person. In addition, according to the rumors, his family background was not bad. That was why the Su family could not do anything to him. At night, she worked part-time at a pub. She could not find a suitable job elsewhere. Working here at night meant that at worst, she slept a bit less. It did not interfere with her studies and her auditions in the day. This pub was quite big. Many people in the industry came here too. Thus, many fangirls were here to pursue their idols. Since the pub's prices were very high, they came to work as servers. Usually, some of the customers would ask directly for Su Wan when they saw her. But she was a server and did not do anything else, so she would refuse to the extent that she could. Recently, some people had grown much more interested in her after hearing that she was at any rate a celebrity and an actress that had been on the news. "Su Wan, go to the customer in room 101. When she heard the supervisor's words, Su Wan turned her head and asked, "Supervisor, why should I go there? That's not my position. Just go since I'm asking you to. You're so troublesome. I'm telling you, you definitely can't afford to offend the person in that room. Other people are so eager to go. You're getting a bargain, you know." As Su Wan was being pushed in, she did in fact see that the other servers around her were all looking at her with nearly fanatical gazes. With their jealous expressions, it seemed that they were about to eat her. As for Su Wan, she only understood what was happening the moment she went in. In the row of people inside, there was an extremely eye-catching man leaning backward. It was Gu Jingze. Chapter 1297. You don't want my money. Apart from Gu Jingze, there were actually many other people here with him. But the moment she entered, the only person she saw was Gu Jingze. Forgive her for not being able to treat Gu Jingze as just another average person passing by yet. Because no matter what, he was the first man she had been with. Previously, they had had such intimate physical contact. But now, they were a pair of strangers again. On the side, there were many people around Gu Jingze. Some of them were big shots in the film industry, while others were sons of wealthy families. All of them were doing well in their fields. Upon seeing Su Wan, one of the people there, Master Lu, had delight written all over his face. He stood up instantly and said, "Hey, she's here, she's here. Look, the person I was talking about. The little celebrity. Come here, come here. Come over to me." Su Wan immediately bowed her head. She genuinely wanted to pretend that she did not exist. But there was absolutely no way for her to avoid this situation. She stood there for a long time. However, her supervisor behind her pushed her directly towards them. The supervisor felt anxious just looking at Su Wan. Su Wan was usually quite clever at her work. Why was there something off about her today? She was being so unpresentable in front of so many people whom she could not afford to offend. At being pushed, Su Wan walked straight ahead. From the side, Master Lu grabbed a hold of Su Wan. "Oh, my little beauty. Let me take a look. You're quite pretty. Why aren't you famous yet? Follow me. I'll get people to look after you. You'll definitely become famous." Su Wan could not help but look at Gu Jingze at the back. Master Lu immediately said, that's right. We should have Jingyu look after you. You know Jingyu, right? Inside and outside the country, everywhere in the country, he's the most famous idol and the most powerful celebrity. With him looking after you, you'll become famous within minutes." Gu Jingyu looked straight and differently as if he had not seen Su Wan at all. When he heard Master Lu's words now, he merely raised his wine glass calmly. However, he took a sip before slamming it directly onto the table, causing a thud. The people present froze collectively. Master Lu was very observant. He immediately looked towards Su Wan and said, "Hey, that, Su Wan. Why don't you quickly go and placate our Jingyu? Jingyu, look, doesn't this lady look radiant? I especially got her here to wait upon you." But Gu Jingyu looked up and glanced at Su Wan at the side. "No need, I don't want an easy woman like her." Su Wan's face stiffened. Master Lu had an awkward expression on his face. He looked at Su Wan, thinking to himself that she was truly quite beautiful despite being an easy woman. But since Gu Jingyu did not like her, he merely chuckled. True, Jingyu won't even look at goods of such quality. Those who can match up to Gu Jingyu's level must be those rich young ladies whose families are well matched in terms of social status and are very cultured. We're different, we like easy women like you. Hee. Come, what's your name? He started to grope Su Wan again. However, his hand had just touched her shoulder when Gu Jingyu suddenly grasped his wine glass. He looked up at the rest. If we're going to have fun, let's do it properly. Women or whatever, send them all out. They looked at him. They looked at each other before looking at Gu Jingyu again. Although Gu Jingyu was so disrespectful, they still had to show Gu Jingyu sufficient respect. It was all because this man was not to be trifled with. Who in C Nation dared to offend members of the Gu family? Furthermore, this man was the third young master of the Gu family. Master Lu immediately said, all right. Since our Jingyu wants peace and quiet, we'll just keep him company today. Go, all the women, go out. Master Lu glanced longingly at Su Wan, thinking to himself that he could still get his hands on her sooner or later, if not now. Then, he chased them all out. After leaving, Su Wan heaved a sigh of relief. Although it was so hurtful that Gu Jingyu called her an easy woman, it was precisely because he did not like easy women that she was spared from disaster this time. But when the people outside saw Su Wan come out, they momentarily rejoiced in her misfortune. Why did she come out? Is it because she wasn't to Jingyu's taste? I knew it. How could Gu Jingyu possibly like the women here? If he wanted a woman, he would look for those high-class ones. Oh, but at least she went in and saw him in the flesh. I want to go in and interact with him too. But Su Wan genuinely did not want to go in again. She exhaled and looked at the people outside. Then, she saw that the supervisor had walked over to her. Su Wan, I let you go in out of good intentions. But this is how you repay me. Do you know the status of these people? You saw them. Gu Jingyu was also inside. Every one of the people who mix around with Gu Jingyu has fame and prestige. I can't believe you dared to behave petulantly. I think you no longer want to work here. Gu Jingyu would actually come here. Indeed, she no longer wanted to work here. I won't work here anymore. I'm resigning. She grabbed the name tag on her clothes and put it on the table. What? The supervisor did not expect this last to be so unyielding. Hey, I only told you to go in to socialize with them. All of these people are prominent figures. If you can claim connections with even one of them, you don't have to worry for the rest of your life. I'm really quitting. Su Wan left the place without hesitation. She took the public bus and then the subway, returning to the school unhurriedly. She had just reached the entrance when she saw Chen Jian going in too. Su Wan, you're back. Why are you here? Chen Jian said, I knew that you definitely wouldn't listen and go for your part-time job. That's why I came here to wait for you. Su Wan continued, you don't have to do this. I've quit. I won't be working anymore. Chen Jian froze but did not ask further. He paused before taking out some money from his pocket. Take this first. Huh, no need, no need. I'll look for other jobs. Don't give me money. I'm lending it to you. Take it, otherwise, you'll have nothing to eat at all. If you starve to death, I'll have one less friend. Quick, take it. All right, I'll go off first. He forcefully stuffed the money into her pocket. He knew that she did not want to take it. Thus, he ran off without giving her the chance to refuse. Chen Jian, Su Wan called out to him but he did not stop. She stood there and looked on blankly. However, she was unaware that a car had been following behind her quietly all the way. He had thought she was virtuous. He had thought she was proud. But after rejecting him and leaving him, she still turned around and took money from someone else. Gu Jingze was in his car with his hands on the steering wheel as he looked at her. He suddenly alighted after a long time. Su Wan sighed. Looking at the empty and desolate streets, she thought that she would return the money to him tomorrow. She definitely had to return it to him. She would not continue to accept his help. Otherwise, it would be too unbecoming of her. However, after taking one step, she was suddenly stopped by a tall figure. She froze and felt a familiar scent approach her. Thereafter, the strong man stretched his arms open and swiftly pulled her close to him. After being pushed against the wall, in the dark, she saw the indifference in the man's eyes. When he looked at her, there was a ruthless disdain in the depths of his eyes. Why, so you didn't want my money because you already had another target? Chapter 1298. Are you trying to ruin my life? What? Su Wan frowned as she looked at him. She did not understand what he meant by this. Gu Jingze slowly tilted her chin up with his hand. How much money did you take just now? How many days are you planning to sell yourself for this time? Su Wan immediately understood. He had misunderstood something after seeing Chen Jian give her money earlier. The man pressed his body closer in a domineering manner. He looked at her face with his seemingly cold gaze, making her feel a ripping pain. He lowered his head until it was nearly touching her body. The stiff hair in front of his forehead was almost falling onto her face. She looked at him and instinctively felt that she was about to suffocate. It was difficult for her to control her breathing and make it regular. Gu Jingze, she yelled his name. Do you think that everyone is as bad as you? He's just my friend. He wanted to help me out. It's not as vile as you think. Was his thinking vilely, or did she think that he himself was vile? He smiled grimly and moved even closer, using his chest to press her against the wall. Yes, I'm vile. I'm very vile. He isn't vile. He saved you from untold misery, right? Why, does he like you a lot? He pressed close to her ear and used his teeth to fiddle with her ear as if he was gnawing at it. But the words that came out of his mouth were so vicious. Su Wan's face turned red. No, he doesn't like me. However, her blushing face had already betrayed what she was thinking. Gu Jingze grinned even more nastily. Oh, that means he likes you. How much does he like you? He leaned in close to her body and brushed lightly against it. He could feel the softness of her chest against his. That feeling made him recall the intoxicated expression on her face during each night of frenzy in the past. Was she showing this same expression to another man now? Does he like you so much that he can disregard your past, disregard the fact that your body has been touched by someone else, disregard the fact that I've provided for you before? Were such evil words from the mouth of this man who always looked so elegant? How sharp, how unkind. Perhaps this was just the way he was. After all, the way they had been brought together previously was like a mirage. It was so short, she had not gotten to know him thoroughly. In reality, an air of rebelliousness emanated from the entire body of this unruly man. He was also overbearing and insufferably arrogant. But how could he say that about her? You stop it. I've already ended things with you. Why did you still come here to harass me? Is that so? Things have already ended between us. He pressed his cheek against hers and looked at her face very closely. If things have already ended between us, it doesn't mean we can't start again. You let go of me. If you don't let me go, I'm going to yell. There are security guards all over the school. Go ahead and yell. I'll see who dares to interfere in my affairs. You jerk. Unable to tolerate him further, Su Wan cursed bluntly. However, Gu Jingze continued to press against her without letting her go. When he looked at her moist lips that tilted upwards from anger, he thought of a red-hot peach. He immediately gripped her chin and kissed her lips. Gu Jingyu, let go of me. How can you do this? How dare you? There's nothing that I, Gu Jingyu, dare not do. You. Gu Jingyu instantly pinned her against the wall. He heard her yelling but had no intention of letting her go at all. She could sense his overwhelming scent invading her, making her even more uncomfortable. How could he do this? How could he do this here? Let go of me. Even if there weren't many people around at this time, people would occasionally pass by. If they saw. Besides, it was true that they no longer had anything to do with each other. How could he treat her this way? She made up her mind and bit his tongue without hesitation. After she bit it, he felt a sharp pain. Gu Jingyu released her abruptly. As he looked at this woman, he tasted a stench in his mouth. He was bleeding. She was truly heartless. He reached out and wiped away the blood at his mouth corner. A mad look flashed in his eyes. He stared fixedly at her. Su Wan. Su Wan's body was trembling. She looked at him and said resolutely, "You're not allowed to touch me again." How was she going to do that? A grim smile spread across Gu Jingyu's face. Immediately, the entire season of summer seemed to be taken over by bitter cold. He stared at her. Fine, I want to see how you stop me. Tell me, if that man I saw earlier knew that you had been positioned in countless different poses on my bed, that every inch of your skin has been marked by me, will he still treasure you and like you as much as he does? You're too evil. Is that what you call evil? Then just you wait. Gu Jingyu slapped his coat open, turned around and walked away. Gu Jingyu, you're not allowed to do that. How can you be like this? Are you trying to ruin every part of my life? Gu Jingyu did not turn around. Beside him, someone curious seemed to have heard Gu Jingyu's name and looked over. Su Wan gritted her teeth. As she looked at his back blend into the dark night, she ultimately did not gather up the courage to go after him. Gu Jingyu, what exactly did he want to do? Su Wan touched her own lips, wanting to wipe away his scent. He was so loathsome. How could he be so evil? Was he really trying to utterly destroy her life? At the Gu residence, Gu Jingyu suddenly came in when Lin Che and Xiuan were playing with blocks. Third young master, sir isn't around. Don't walk so fast. When it came to their own young master, especially the third young master who was extremely close to their master, of course, the security guards outside would not stop him. All of them were also aware that the brothers of the Gu family got along very well. Thus, whether it was Gu Jingming or Gu Jingyu, they treated them as part of the family and were not very strict towards them. Gu Jingyu rushed in, which made Lin Che suffer. She said, "Wow, what are you doing?" Gu Jingyu said, I'm so bored, let's go have a drink." Lin Che said disbelievingly, "Can't you see that I still have to look after my child? Get someone else to look after him. You can see your child every day. I'm not someone you can meet every day. Come on, come on." Gu Jingyu approached Lin Che and immediately pulled her away. Fortunately, their children had the unique trait of being easy to look after. Thus, as Gu Jingyu pulled her away, her child merely sat on the ground while asking, "Mother, where are you going?" Your uncle is bringing me out to have fun. I'll come back soon, Okay, mother, does uncle have no one to play with him? How pitiful. Gu Jingyu glanced fiercely at Gu Xiuan. Lin Che genuinely wanted to laugh. He was right. This Gu Jingyu was too much. He dragged his sister-in-law out to have fun whenever he had no one to accompany him. If it was any other family, he would have been reprimanded a long time ago. However, she was genuinely good friends with Gu Jingyu, so no one ever said anything since everyone knew that they were on good terms. Chapter 1299 I Don't Want to Be Lonely. After she was dragged out, Lin Che was brought to a small pub outside. It was filled with people from this industry. In the past, Lin Che had also come to this pub before. Although its interior had been upgraded, it was still open for business, also because many celebrities came here. Lin Che was with Gu Jingyu. Because Gu Jingyu was clearly in a bad mood, Lin Che let him do as he wished. Gu Jingyu was shouting for Lin Che to drink. Lin Che could only patronize him and drink. Gu Jingze said, look at you. You're not giving me any face at all. We've been friends for so many years. Can I order you, as your sister-in-law, to stop drinking? Hee. No. Lin Che rolled her eyes. Beside them, some people saw that Gu Jingze and Lin Che had actually made a rare appearance and even wanted to approach them for a chat. Many people tried to pull strings here. When they saw anyone whom they could pull strings with, they would quickly rush over to curry favor with them in hopes of getting a role and getting some benefits. In the movie and television industry, those who relied on connections were everywhere. However, seeing that Gu Jingze was not in a good mood, Lin Che quickly fended them all off by pretending to ignore everyone and by putting on a foul expression. When other people saw that the two of them wanted to ignore everyone, they worried that they would offend them instead if they came here to join them. Therefore, they did not approach them. After some time, Gu Jingze was a bit drunk. With his body tilted, he said, I think women are truly living beings that are impossible to understand. Lin Che asked, what's wrong with you? Have you been hurt? I just feel that they may behave a certain way one moment and behave another way in the next. I can't guess what they're thinking. Lin Che smiled. Oh, you're thinking too much. You care too much. That's why you feel this way. Gu Jingze said, who the hell cares? Just then, someone called Lin Che. Lin Che was a little suspicious when she saw that it was an unknown number. However, ordinary people would not know her number. Gu Jingze had specially set it up for her before. Marketing and advertising calls and the like could not reach her phone. Thus, calls that could reach her phone were usually useful ones. Lin Che answered the call doubtfully. Is this Lin Che? The voice on the phone was quite cautious and tentative. Who are you? As she did not know who the other person was, she did not immediately admit to it. Oh, I'm from the Wang Manor. As for me, I met you previously at your grandmother's funeral. Grandmother. Lin Che froze. That had happened quite a long time ago. Furthermore, a significant number of people had been there that day. She could not really remember who it was. But since she was from there, she was probably calling because something had cropped up. The person who had called was a woman. Lin Che figured that she was perhaps one of her relatives there. Oh, I see. I'm Lin Che. Is something the matter? Hasn't it been a few years? When your grandmother passed away, we did not exchange many words when we met. We're on vacation in B City right now. I was thinking of visiting you. Before your grandmother passed, you were the person she was most worried about. We wanted to visit you while we're here so that we can reminisce with your grandmother at her tomb and let her know if you're doing well. On account of her grandmother, Lin Che definitely had to meet them after hearing that they had come to B City. Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze, who was slightly dazed as he sat beside her crookedly. Then, she pulled him up swiftly. Enough. Stop drinking. I'm going out to meet someone. I'll send you home. Who are you going to meet? Let me take you there. How are you going to bring me when you're like this? Do you still want to drive? Forget it. Oh no, you're right. I can't drive yet. Let's go. I'll go with you. Lin Che asked, oh dear, why are you coming with me? What's wrong? Who are you meeting that I can't meet? Oh no, are you doing something behind second brother's back? No, I must go and take a look. This Gu Jingze simply wanted to cling to her no matter what. Lin Che thought that perhaps he did not want to go back alone and let his imagination run wild. That was why she thought that it would be good for him to have someone with him. Therefore, she did not refuse him any further and took him with her. At the moment, the entire family was waiting at the entrance of B City's rail station. When Lin Che arrived, she was a little stunned when she saw a row of people standing there. There were more people here than she had expected. But luckily, she had many cars at home. She instructed her subordinates to drive over. When the staff of the rail station saw a few luxury cars pass by, they did not stop them immediately. If only one car had driven here, it would be fine. Cars were not expensive now and there were many wealthy people too. But seeing as so many cars had driven in, these were definitely not ordinary wealthy people. So, the staff of the rail station immediately cleared some space for them to park their cars. Lin Che was slightly embarrassed when she got out of the car, because she was afraid there were many people outside. On top of that, Gu Jingze was with her. If she got off too soon, people would immediately gather around the moment they saw them. It would be troublesome if that happened. She thanked the people who came over to help her. When the station staff saw that it was Lin Che, they were dumbfounded. Dazed, they nodded with smiles across their whole faces. You're welcome, you're welcome. As for the people over there, they were filled with surprise when they saw Lin Che and her subordinates approach in a line. Their manner was stylish and grand. They thought to themselves, how imposing their presence was. Even the people in uniform standing at the rail station had to nod their heads and bow. In their eyes, people who wore uniforms in a place like B City were all much more impressive than those who wore uniforms back home. Furthermore, someone with sharp eyes immediately shouted, "Oh, that's Gu Jingze." By this time, Lin Che had already made her way over. She saw that 6 people had come. The person leading them was probably the lady who had called her. She was dressed cleanly and neatly. She had 2 boys and 1 girl beside her, who were probably her sons and daughter. There was a man trailing behind her. He was probably her husband. Further beside her, there was a woman who resembled the man very closely. She guessed that she was probably her sister-in-law. After going over, her guesses were all confirmed. The woman hastily said with enthusiasm, "Little Che, oh no, you don't remember me anymore, right? I'm Su Fen. We have the same mother. Your grandmother was our neighbor." Lin Che immediately understood that she was a relative on her mother's side. She ought to call her second aunt. "Second aunt, nice to meet you." "Yes, yes, hello. This is your younger sister, Lulian. These are your 2 younger brothers. This is your uncle." After introducing each of them, Su Fen looked at the car behind. Lulian and the rest were all looking at Gu Jingze. Gu Jingze looked on from where he was. After hearing that they were Lin Che's relatives, he immediately reined himself in and stood there without talking at all. Lulian yelled, "Is that Gu Jingze elder sister? That's the real Gu Jingze, right?" Lin Che turned around to look. She understood how these young girls felt too, so she smiled and said, "Yes." "Wow, that's great. Can I go there and say hello? Can I take a picture with him?" Hearing this, Su Fen said beside her, "Lulian, why are you so disobedient? What picture? Don't cause trouble upon your arrival." Ah hee hee. Lin Che was not in a position to say that she could take a picture with him, because she knew that Gu Jingze did not like taking pictures with other people. She did not want to make things difficult for her own friend in order to accommodate someone else. Thus, she merely smiled dryly and did not say anything else. Seeing this, Lulian muttered, "If not, then forget it." Pouting, she went to the back. Chapter 1300. How should she give him a surprise? Seeing this, Su Fen hastily pulled her daughter behind her and looked at Lulian reprimandingly. Of course, Lin Che had heard the sentence she had muttered. She turned around and instinctively looked at this young girl. However, she did not comment any further. "How long are you staying in B City?" "We don't know yet. We came here mainly to visit you. We've never been to the capital before too, so we came for a visit." Su Fen answered carefully, chuckling as she looked at Lin Che. Lin Che turned around and pondered for a bit. "In that case, let's make arrangements for your accommodation first." Really? Oh no, we're so sorry for inconveniencing you. We just wanted to visit you." Although Su Fen said so, there was happiness all over her face. She knew that she would probably be able to save money if she contacted Lin Che while she was in B City. She could simply make some space in her house for them to stay in. Even if they did not have beds to sleep on, sleeping on the floor was fine too. In any case, they could save quite a lot of money by not staying in a hotel. After moving in with them, they would definitely settle their meals too. Then, they would be able to save much more money. Lin Che arranged for them to go to a lodging. This place was a villa in Gu Jingze's name. Naturally, it was impossible for her to let them move into the Gu residence. But this place was probably sufficient to accommodate them. She sent another maid to help clean the place up. Thinking that they were only going to stay here for a few days, she did not make any further arrangements. There were usually people here to tidy up the place. This place had everything. Not a speck of dust was to be found inside. They could move right in. They traveled by car to the lodging that had been prepared. Inside, they looked at the exterior of the villa in admiration. They also sighed in awe at the thought that Lin Che was actually staying in such a nice place. After getting out of the car, Lin Che watched them enter the house. "This place is done up so well. Wow, I feel as if I'm in heaven. This place is way too beautiful. Little Che, your house is really very clean. Su Fen looked around and asked, by the way, where is your husband? I only saw him briefly last year. I didn't see him after that. Is he still busy? Lin Che said, yes. Is he always away from home? Su Fen asked after looking around and seeing that he was not here. Oh, we don't live here. This place is for you to live in. Second aunt, have a good rest. I'll send my friend home first. Once we've rested up, we can discuss our plans for tomorrow. Su Fen immediately looked around in surprise. They did not live here. Then where do you live? This place is so big. We stay somewhere else close by. You guys rest up. Without saying anything else, Lin Che took Gu Jingze with her and left this place. When Wu Lulian saw Gu Jingze leave, she was so anxious at the back that she wanted to stomp her feet. It seemed that her eyes were about to follow him out. She stood there and kept staring at Gu Jingze until his last strand of hair disappeared. Only then did she look elsewhere with her lip curled. Su Fen was touching the beautiful curtain at the side. It was incredibly smooth and looked like cloth of extraordinarily good quality. She could not believe that it was used to make curtains. It was truly a waste. She let us stay in such a huge house. She's way too polite. Wu Lulian said, Mother, don't be so out of date. These wealthy people love buying houses. I'm sure this isn't their only house. This house that they let us stay in is merely one of their houses. It's called a villa. Look, it has 2 floors and it's so big. Su Fen asked, are celebrities that rich? Yes. What did you think? Su Fen said, owning many houses like this one, she's so rich. On top of that, the houses in B City are particularly expensive. You don't know, but this house alone is enough to buy a few hundred houses back home. Is it really that extreme? What did you think? This is the capital city. Su Fen sighed and said, be good. I thought it was good enough for her to settle food and drinks for us. She's so rich, she won't care about such a small sum of money. After leaving, Lin Che shook her head and said to her personal guards, watch over them. It would be best if they didn't cause any trouble. After hearing their excessively respectful words, Lin Che did not have a very good impression of these people. However, as they were ultimately related to her through her mother, she had to at least look after them a little. After arriving home, Lin Che recounted the incident to Gu Jingze. I find it a bit of a waste to even let them stay there. But if they don't stay there, it will be a bigger waste of money for them to stay in a hotel. I thought it would be better to arrange for them to stay at our house. Let them make their own meals. Gu Jingze nodded and looked at her. I sense that you don't really like them. Lin Che said, anyway, I can't explain that feeling either. It's strange. I keep feeling as if they're here to take advantage of me. There are many people like that. Have you met such people too? In the beginning, weren't you here to take advantage of me too? Lin Che looked at him indignantly. You were clearly the one who pushed me down. Gu Jingze smiled brightly. The corners of his eyes were slightly pointing upwards with a hint of amusement. Consolation and mockery were blossoming on his face like a resplendent flower. But you still got a great bargain, right? That was my first time. Ha, as if it wasn't my first time too. Humph, is taking your first time considered taking advantage of you? I didn't even say that I gave you a free practical lesson. Otherwise, humph, no matter how much theoretical knowledge you had in the past, you would just be a rookie. Gu Jingze's eyes paused. She had become so audacious. He immediately flipped over and pushed her down on the narrow single couch. Lin Che chuckled and quickly resisted him. Let go of me, let go. Teacher, you've taught me well. I thought that my results were not bad for so many years, but it seems that you haven't properly tested my results before. Come on, let's do it now. Oh, I don't want to. Lin Che hastily begged for mercy. It's useless to admit defeat only now. Laughter from the two of them traveled from the room. Hearing this, the people outside could not help but laugh along with them. This married couple was so sweet. They themselves were starting to look forward to romance. Under his ministrations, Lin Che's body was itching. She was gasping for breath. She looked at Gu Jingze, thinking that he was right. She had indeed gotten a bargain. Even after that, she continued to act as if it had not happened. She had gotten such a handsome husband in exchange for nothing. His face alone had a high-class aura to it. She held his face with both her hands and said gently, "It's fine for me to take advantage of you. But other people can't. Anyway, I must make them leave as soon as possible." Gu Jingze pinched her cheek. "As long as you're careful. They say it's easier to invite the devil in than to send him away." Lin Che was indeed a bit worried. She was worried that they would get into trouble. But at the moment, there was no better alternative either. She merely looked at Gu Jingze, feeling that it was, in fact, bad for her to take advantage of him without doing anything. She thought to herself that he was always the one giving her surprises. In reality, she had not given him any special presents before. Suddenly, she also wanted to see how he looked when he was surprised. However, he had always been a calm man with no expressions. Although he was not like that in front of her, he always had an air of indifference either to favor or disgrace. It was as if everything was within his calculations and he was full of confidence. It seemed that all her thoughts could not escape him. This made her feel very defeated. She thought that no matter what, she had to make him fall into her trap once. Otherwise, she genuinely could not take this lying down. But how would she conceal this from his sharp eyes?